Many thanks for joining us on the news at this hour. I am Joy Annie. Let's begin with the headlines. President Bola Tinubu calls for inclusive global governance at BRICS summit in Brazil. Nigeria reaffirms commitment to global nuclear test ban. And the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board sets 150 as 2025 cutoff mark for university admission. And Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo inaugurates Enugu Air maiden flight. On business, it says President Tinubu pledges transparency in public finance, opens 2025 National Conference on Public Account. And now the news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has urged a comprehensive re-evaluation of the global governance, financial and healthcare systems, advocating for greater inclusion and equity for low-income and margin economies, especially in Africa. Speaking at the 17th meeting of the BRICS Bloc and Global South Nation in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, President Tinubu emphasized that environmental degradation, climate change and healthcare disparities continue to hinder growth and development in many regions of the world. He said Nigeria supports the BRICS call for a more balanced and collective approach to global development, one that addresses long-standing structural imbalances and prioritizes fairness. The Nigerian leader was invited to the summit by Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Nigeria officially became one of the 9 BRICS partner countries in January 2025 alongside Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda and Uzbekistan. The partner country category was introduced at the 16th BRICS summit in Kazan in October 2024. Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maita Matugar, has issued a clarion call to BRICS nations to take the lead in the global fight against climate change and health inequity. Delivering an address on behalf of the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the Nigerian delegation in Brasilia, Brazil, Ambassador Tuga stressed the urgent need for collective action. He pointed Africa's vulnerability to climate change despite contributing minimally to global emissions, citing flooding, desertification, and rising sea levels in Nigeria, which are taking a toll on lives and livelihood. Ambassador Tuga urged BRICS to increase climate financing support to developing nations for them to pursue ambitious climate targets while maintaining economic growth, while calling for a complete reinvention of global health system to address inequities exposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Al-Kazim Abdul Qadir, the Minister's Special Assistant on Media and Strategy Communication, shared this statement with newsmen, reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to initiatives as the African Carbon Market and the Great Green Wall, and outlined the country's long-term Vision 2050, which seeks to integrate renewable energy, urban efficiency, and climate resilience into national planning. Relatively, Chinese Premier Li Qiang has called on BRICS nations to reaffirm their commitment to building an open world economy while firmly opposing unilateralism and protectionist practices. Speaking at the plenary session of the 17th BRICS summit held in Brazil, Li emphasized the importance of safeguarding global industrial and supply chains amid mounting economic uncertainties. Addressing a diverse gathering of leaders from BRICS member state, partner nations and international organizations, Li underscored the need to uphold multilateralism in tackling key global challenges, pointing artificial intelligence, climate change, environmental protection and public health as critical issues requiring coordinated global action and deeper BRICS engagement. The Premier noted that the current global trade system and international economic order face significant pressure, with recovery from recent disruptions proving difficult. He urged BRICS countries to stay aligned with their funding objectives by promoting a fair, inclusive and transparent global economy system that supports development, particularly across the global south. And here in Nigeria, Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the global ban on nuclear weapons testing, emphasizing that the country remains focused on tackling pressing socio-economic and environmental challenges. Shettima gave the assurance during a meeting with a delegation from the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, CTBTO, led by its Executive Secretary, Dr. Robert Floyd, Abuja, at the presidential villa in Abuja. He noted that Africa and particularly Nigeria faces urgent issues such as poverty and climate change that demand immediate attention. He praised the CBTO for its vigilance with 337 monitoring stations worldwide, adding that the organization's work also benefits civilian population by detecting tsunamis and monitoring volcanic activity. In response, Dr. Floyd commended Nigeria's role under President Bola Tinubu's leadership in strengthening international norms against nuclear testing. He described the partnership between Nigeria and the CTBTO as a natural alliance and lauded the country's contribution towards achieving global nuclear stability. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has announced 150 as the minimum cutoff mark for admission into Nigerian universities for the 2025 academic session. The decision was reached on Tuesday at the 2025 policy meeting on admissions held at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja, with stakeholders from tertiary institutions across the country in attendance. According to the board, the cutoff mark for other institutions were also approved by consensus: 140 for colleges of nursing and 100 for both polytechnics and colleges of education. The cutoff marks serve as baseline criteria, with individual institutions permitted to set higher standards for admission. Meanwhile, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has reiterated that the minimum admissible age for candidates seeking entry into Nigerian tertiary institution remains 16 years. The reaffirmation was made on Tuesday during the 2025 policy meeting on admissions held at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja. It said that the age requirement has been strictly enforced through its central admission processing system, the CAPS, with consensus made to accommodate candidates who would attain the age of 16 by August 31st, 2025. However, the board raised concerns over a report that some institutions had bypassed this directive by admitting underage candidates through unofficial channels and collecting substantial tuition fees from them. The board warned that such admissions are illegal and cannot be recognized until the CAPS framework, adding that some violations have already resulted in legal action against the offending institutions. Away to aviation now. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has officially inaugurated Enugu's air median flight at the Akanu Ibiam International Airport. The state-owned airline is a bold initiative by Governor Peter Mbah's administration to boost economic development and improve connectivity. Special Advisor on Media and Communication to the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Tunde Moshood, said Minister Keyamo praised the launch as a trailblazing initiative, highlighting it as a model for what state governments can achieve through visionary leadership and strategic investment. Governor Mbah, who expressed gratitude to the minister and his team for their support, described Enugu Air not just as airline, but a symbol of the state's ambition to connect with the world and unlock new opportunities. Enugu Air is set to begin regular commercial flights to key domestic destinations. We plan to expand regionally and internationally in the near future. The Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development pledged continued support to ensure safety, sustainability, and global standards in Nigeria's aviation sector. You're watching the news on ASO Television. We are live on DSTV channel 392, also on StarTimes TV channel 127. We're on Free TV channel 507. We're also on the UHF band on channel 38. Now still to come on the news. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, is approving the commencement of domestic flight operations by Enugu Air in line with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development's 5-point agenda. Stay with us for details of this and more after the break.
We were warned about this marriage. Because we did not listen, the young maiden is dead.
Nana, come here. Hi. Why do you speak so freely with a stranger from Ajani?
We were just talking about offering Ojigijage a seat on the council.
The gods be praised.
Negodo Nselko, Sisi. He has 2 wives. So why are you making it look like it is a big deal?
Many thanks for staying there. Let's go on to the Nigerian Aviation Authority, the NCAA, which has approved the commencement of domestic flight operation by Enugu Air in line with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development 5-point agenda aimed at promoting the growth of indigenous airline and the DGCA's mantra of enhancing ease of doing business and deepening sectoral reforms. In a statement, Michael Achimugu, NCAA's Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, said Enugu Air has designated ExitJet as its operational partner pending the conclusion of its air operator certificate process. He said pursuant to this partnership, the ExitJet has completed a full variation process to integrate the EMB 170 aircraft into its operation specification in accordance with NCAA's 5-phase certification procedure. As such, ExitJet is duly authorized to operate scheduled commercial flight on behalf of Enugu Air under current NCAA guidelines. This statement states that in the interim, ticket sales for Enugu Air flights is facilitated via the ExitJet platform, accessible through a redirect on the Enugu Air official website. The NCAA says it remains committed to enabling a supportive regulatory environment for indigenous carriers, ensuring fair competition and upholding the highest standards of safety, security and consumer protection in Nigeria's air transport industry. Now, Justice Marian Anene of the Federal Capital Territory High Court has fixed July 17, 2025 for ruling on an application filed by former Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello seeking permission to travel abroad for medical treatment. At a resumed hearing in Abuja, Bello's counsel, Chief Joseph Daudu San, informed the court that a motion had been filed requesting the release of his client's international passport by the court registrar to enable him seek medical attention overseas. However, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, opposed the request, filing a counter affidavit arguing that granting the application could delay the ongoing legal proceedings. In response, Daudu told the court that the defense had filed a further 20-paragraph affidavit on July 7, 2025, deposed to Bello himself alongside with 2 exhibits. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed more commitment to transparency and accountability in public finance management, declaring that funds saved from the removal of fuel subsidy will be channeled into critical infrastructure, safety and social safety net, and targeted economic reforms. A statement signed by the Director of Information and Public Relations to the Federal Ministry of Finance, Muhammad Manga, showed the president gave the assurance in Abuja when he declared open the 2025 National Conference on Public Accounts and Financial Governance with the theme Fiscal Governance in Nigeria, charting a new course for transparency and sustainability development. Represented by the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka-Nite, the President emphasized the importance of transparency and accountability in public finance management while citing steps taken to digitize public finance system through platforms such as the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, Government Integrated Financial Management, Information System, and the Open Treasury Portal. sector. He added that strengthening the role of the public account committees and promoting transparency and accountability in government, the administration demonstrates its commitment to fiscal discipline and responsible governance. This event is a significant milestone in Nigeria's pursuit of transparency, accountability, and sustainable development, providing a platform for stakeholders to discuss critical issues, share best practices, and chart a new course for fiscal governance in Nigeria. Now, the United States mission in Nigeria has begun screening the social media accounts of Nigerian applicants seeking FM and J non-immigrant visas as part of enhanced vetting procedures aimed at bolstering national security. In a directive issued on Monday via its official X formerly Twitter handle, the embassy announced that all individuals applying for these visas categories must immediately adjust the privacy settings of their personnel. Affect Nigerians, intending to study or participate in academic and cultural exchange programs in the United States. The U.S. Consulate explains that the measures is necessary to facilitate vetting necessary to establish their identity and admissibility to the United States. Away to ECOWAS now. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Commission, and the Association of Accountancy Bodies in West Africa, ABWA, have renewed their commitment to enhancing fiscal governance and professional standards across the region. This was the highlight of strategic meeting held on July 7, 2025 at the ECOWAS Commission headquarters in Abuja, where the president of the commission, Dr. Omar Aliu Tori, hosted a delegation from Abwa, led by its president, Mr. Mo Dieng. Central to the discussion was the renewal of a memorandum of understanding aimed at fostering professional mobility, harmonizing accounting practices, and strengthening transparency and accountability among ECOWAS member states. Both parties emphasized the need for unified financial reporting and oversight mechanisms as vital tools for regional